All right, we just wrapped up an incredible day of racing here at Snow Summit in Big Bear, California. Today, we raced the 2025 U.S. Downhill National Championships and Round 4 of the Monster Energy Pro Downhill Series. An incredible day that went very smoothly despite many challenges. I'm going to pass it off to Clay Harper, the GM of the Pro Downhill Series.
Thanks, Lars. Yep, a big day. This was the first time we've ever done this, right? So we are here in Big Bear Lake, California. We have the first time ever that Gravity National Championships have been combined with a National Series race, the Pro Downhill Series race. And the goal with this whole thing was to create consistency, a consistent race schedule throughout the season, so athletes weren't coming into national champs and facing a completely different set of rules and circumstances and everything like that. This whole thing came together through a partnership with Visit Big Bear and Snow Summit Resort here. Honestly, it's pretty impressive to see what, the combination of Pro Downhill Series, Snow Summit, Resort and Bike Park with the local Visitors Bureau, Visit Big Bear, and the team honestly came together. We had a slalom race earlier this week with amazing track, but the downhill was the big focus today, and the track performed. This track is not necessarily the steepest, but it has a lot of breakdown to it, as you noticed. We've heard a lot of feedback from athletes in post-race interviews. We saw some loose racing, to say the least, right? You have to be loose to win at Big Bear. I think if you're riding, high and tight, you're not going to be able to do it. There's a lot of sections they're just surfing through. With that, we got to see Ryan Pinkerton and Kailey Skelton, two semi-locals or people who have spent a lot of time in this terrain over the years, just dominate today, which was really cool to see. And just to take a deeper dive and look at the actual numbers today, we had 137 athletes between men and women's pro, which interestingly today is a combined class of the Cat 1 17-18 plus the pro. So we had a exaggerated pro field, which was much deeper than normal. So with that, there was a split of 110 on the men's side, 27 on the women's side, so a very deep field for the men's. It was particularly interesting when you watch the race. You'll see that with that combined class, we wound up with two really big hitters starting in the back of the pack due to poor qualifying runs. So we started our race with Aaron Gwynn, which is not a normal thing, and then he's in the hot seat, and then we got Dakota Norton, 20-30 riders later, who sat in the hot seat for 30 minutes. I mean, it was a long ride in the hot seat for Dakota Norton. He still managed to stay on till third in the end. You'll see him sitting up here. Total prize money on the day, $17,500, including an additional $1,000 for SR Sun Tour whole shot money. Let's take a quick look at the points. It was a further extension of the lead for Kailey Skelton. She's, going to be pretty hard to beat for the Pro Downhill Series overall at the U.S. Open with a 24-point lead at this point. So the men's side was a little bit more interesting with Dante Silva closing the gap slightly on Aaron Gwynn down to about 8-point gap. So I think that on the women's side, the series is pretty well baked. It'd be hard to beat Kailey, but on the men's side, the U.S. Open will definitely provide some good action, and we could see Dante pass Gwynn. It'll be interesting to see. The thing that people need to know about the U.S. Open is it's a complete wild card. We have so many athletes that only race one race, so definitely don't miss that. It's the next stop in the series. Overall, I think we did pretty good today. Super happy with this relationship we have here with the resort, with Snow Summit, and Visit Big Bear, and we can't wait to be back next year.
We're here with the three fastest ladies of the day, the elite women's podium at the U.S. National Championships 2025. Unbelievable performances. Kailey, you're a two-time national champion. You've been on a really strong streak, winning the last 3 rounds of the Monster Energy Pro Downhill Series. What does it mean for you to get your 3rd national championship title, for you to do it in your hometown?
Yeah, this win is super special, and just overall, I've been fighting for the title for the past 2 years, and always struggled on the past two East Coast tracks that we've raced, super man-made, and to come to a natural, just all-out steep track like this is so fun to be able to race on just a rowdy track and have some honest, fast racing, and it feels so good to get the title back and to do it in Big Bear and just finish strong was so good. I just had fun and rode like myself, and just wanted to bring it to the bottom. After racing here last year and getting a flat, I definitely had some fire in my eyes to bring it back home, and yeah, just overall super stoked and just happy with the whole weekend.
Fantastic. Tilly, you came out of the gate strong, fastest to the first split.
Good job.
Put down a really strong run after the first split. How are you feeling right now being here, sitting on the podium at the U.S. National Championships?
Yeah, I'm happy with my run. I came out of the gate pretty hard, which I'm happy about. The intensity was definitely there. I feel like I maybe faded a bit by the end. I hit the whoops, and it was a little bit rough. But yeah, I'm really happy with my run, and I'm happy to be up here with these two fast girls.
All right, fantastic. And Aletha, you've been overseas, been busy, along with Tilly as well. You came back. I know you were running for the Stars and Stripes. You were able to accomplish that and also get yourself on the podium. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling way better. Yesterday I had a bit of a couple of oopsies, as I feel like everyone knows. So I'm just stoked to have a clean run. All year I've been struggling with having clean runs, I feel like, and I feel like I'm finally getting back into that groove. So I'm just happy to have a clean run and be next to these girls again. So stoked for Kailey. It's good to have. She'll be ripping that national sleep jersey.
Excellent. Aletha, back to you again. Anything that you'd want to comment on just around your season and how things are going and what's next for you?
My season's been great. I would say, like, maybe not as much result-wise, but like I feel like throughout the year I started off pretty rough, and then I've been progressing quite a bit, and that was what was most important for me, is like getting more consistent and seeing better results each time. So I'm really stoked on that. And then my next one, I go to Whistler Crankworks, which I'm really excited about. I love that place. Way different from this place, I will have to say that. And then I go back to Europe and I race in Leger in Champry.
Excellent. And Tilly, how about for you? Anyone that you really like to thank or anything that you're looking forward to after you leave here this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to thank my parents, of course. They're the best.
The secretary.
Yeah, yeah. And then, Commensal U.S. has been out here this weekend helping us out, and of course the team, Commensal Schwalbe by Lazor. It's been great. And then, moving forward, I'm going to Whistler, just like Aletha, and race 11:99, and then straight back into the last World Cups for the season.
Outstanding. And Kailey, what's next for you? As we understand, you are planning on continuing with the Pro Downhill Series, so we would expect to see you at the U.S. Open. What will you be doing between now and then?
Now until then, I'm actually leaving tomorrow afternoon for a 24-hour drive up to Crankworks for Whistler. I'll be racing both downhills there, the OG Canadian Open and 11:99 this year, also dual slalom. So got a pretty stacked 2 weeks there and super excited for that. Looks like we'll be going to World Champs most likely, so planning for that. Can't wait to go race those girls and be there with Aletha, which would be super cool. And then I think we're going to be doing the last two World Cups of the season after U.S. Open. So that's tentative. We'll see how tired we are. We've been going literally for 9 weeks straight, a race every single weekend, stacking with enduro and downhill, just traveling everywhere. As you can tell, we've got a little bit of a cold, so trying to battle that, and honestly, we're just ready to take a little bit of a break, but there's no end in sight right now, so we're going to keep pushing and keep the fire in our eyes and just finish strong.
And Aletha, anyone you'd like to thank in your efforts here in 2025?
I'd also like to thank my team, Canyon Collective. Love them most. And also my mom, she really, really was behind me this weekend. I was struggling a bit, and she definitely was behind me the whole time. My sister, because she is always riding behind me, yelling at me or something of the sorts, talking my ear off. So yeah, definitely those are my main ones.
Fantastic. And Kailey, for you?
Yeah, this was a really special race just because it was local, so I had a lot of family in the area, and a lot of family came out, which was really cool, and that really makes our world go round, having the family in your corner and friends, and just everyone came up, our neighbors, everyone. It was super cool. So everyone there, and of course our team, RE Factory, and Nick supporting me through all of my weekends. Couldn't do it without him.
Fantastic. So big round of applause for our elite women's podium. Congratulations, and good luck with the rest of your season.
Thank you.
We're here with the 3 top finishers in the elite men's field at the 2025 U.S. Downhill National Championships. 3 of our nation's greatest riders here on the top steps. Ryan, start with you. You've been having a really strong career up until this point, but you haven't won an elite national championship title yet until today. How does that feel for you, and how does it feel doing it at your home mountain?
Yeah, it feels super good. Honestly, like after the last 4 World Cup races I've had where I just crashed, I was pretty bummed. And yesterday I rode a bit safe, and today I was like, just ride like you have been, and if you crash, you crash, but it'll turn around. And to like just do the run that I know I could do, that feels really good. And to do it here obviously feels super good, like an hour and a half away from my home. But yeah, it just feels so good to get a elite national championship. Just been working so hard like for the World Cups and like for this, so yeah, it feels super good.
Fantastic. And Dakota, you've been battling your way back from a really serious injury, and you mentioned earlier that you didn't really feel like you had the fitness or the speed. I think you proved to the world otherwise today. How does it feel to come and deliver after dealing with so much adversity on the off season?
Yeah, man. It's was first of all, it was really tough. You know, I couldn't imagine sitting here a few months ago. As you know, I've had a lot of success. I've been able to qualify in semi-first at the World Cups and see my name at the top of the results list, and I felt so far away from that earlier on in the year. And just to come here, and you know, the track is definitely not something that I'm really used to with the amount of dust and the elevation. It was a really challenging race run. So overall, like, I just wanted to put down a solid performance and a run I'm proud of, and I'm starting to see the speed that I once had start to come back slowly, and starting to hesitate less, and starting to have a bit more commitment in my race run. So overall, I mean, this is rad, like a big win for me, and yeah, just coming back slowly. It's really easy to be outcome driven and like want to win and want to fight maybe a pace that you don't have right now. So just continuing to build and seeing improvement is what I'm after at the moment.
Well, job well done. And Evan, you've been having a really strong year. You won the Costa Rican Open, you won the IXS European Downhill, and you've committed yourself to race the entire Monster Energy Pro Downhill Series. You've just bumped yourself up to 3rd in the series and had a really strong performance today amongst some of our nation's greatest athletes. How are you feeling?
I feel great. I've been I'm feeling like pretty quick at these, I'd call them like a second tier below World Cup races. And it's just getting that next level is a difficult task. So racing these boys today, and being up there feels great. And just the way I rode all weekend, really loved it.
Fantastic. And can you walk us through what your inner dialogue was before you dropped in? Were you feeling additional pressure because it's not just, you know, I say just, but not just round 4 of the Pro Downhill Series, but also there's a lot more at stake because it's the national championships? Definitely
More pressure. I felt good though, and I was confident. So I was just excited to get out there.
Excellent. How about for you, Dakota? You had a mishap at the bottom in your seeding run, and with that comes the deficit of not knowing exactly where you stand in seeding. You don't really have a comparison to, you know, for your pace relative to the guys that you're going to race against. How did that play into your strategy, and, you know, what did you tell yourself before you dropped in?
Yeah, I had a few good splits, so I knew that I was capable of being competitive to be on the podium. The big thing for me that was kind of rattling around my head when I was up there on the trainer is, was I going to catch the rider in front of me? Was I going to be able to make it to the finish line? And I kind of had to press rewind a bit and get out of that trap of thinking, what if? You know, I was just going to deal with the situation when I was faced with it. And luckily I didn't catch the rider in front of me, and I had, I think, 4 or 5 bike links. He was coming across the finish line when I was coming out of the last corner. So definitely had some dust at the bottom, but and some moments of where I was like, man, am I going to catch this guy? Once I started seeing dust, I started getting really nervous and tightened up for sure. But yeah, I mean, if I can ride my pace, I think that I can be competitive to do well at these races, week in and week out. It's just the bigger picture of believing that pace is still there and not overriding the track and just settling into a rhythm, especially like in what I would call challenging conditions for me. Like this is, we see this a couple times a year at the World Cup, but I mean, Pinky is definitely, this is where he excels. So a little bit of a troublesome thought process when I was on the trainer for the race run. It's like, man, you want to win, but you also want to get a good result. And then also like, am I going to catch the dude in front of me? So it's hard to focus.
Yeah, excellent. Well, looks like you focused well enough to deliver. So Ryan, for you, you didn't seed fastest, but there was a lot of talk in the pits prior to seeding that you would be, someone to watch out for.
Yeah.
It's your hometown mountain. Did that add additional pressure outside of it just being the national championships, but just knowing that there was expectations for you? Did that play a role into your?
Yeah, it added pressure, but for me, I prefer the pressure. Like, I found that sometimes when there's no pressure, I don't perform because there's no risk of having letting people down. But when there's putting pressure on me, I feel like I thrive under that, and I just it makes me just want to go faster and just do the best I can. And honestly, having people choosing me to either podium or win, I was like, yeah, let's do this. And it definitely, the pressure helped me. Yeah, this weekend was great. Obviously, I won my first elite national title, and I'm super happy. And coming up is a couple weeks or about a month, I got the next World Cup and the next block of World Cups, including World Champs. So just going to take a little break, get ready for that, and just do the best I can at those races.
It was kind of my plan to try to get some mid-season races and try to get back up to speed. And I mean, it was pretty true to character for the Pro Downhill Series to see such a high level of competition. Being the national championship, there was definitely some added stress. Man, it was hard for me at the top to realize that it wasn't a World Cup race run I was getting ready to drop in for, because I definitely felt the pressure being nationals and knowing how fast the local kids, both Pinkerton and Dooley, would go, as well as Dante as well. It was a high pressure situation. So coming up next, I'm going to try to take this momentum and roll it into 1199 at Crankworks, and then I have the U.S.A. World Cup and World Championship. So using this mid-season race to help hopefully drive some intention that will lead to some good results at the World Cup.
Fantastic. And Evan, last but not least, for you.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about how I did today with these boys. Standing next to them feels good. I feel like I just made a step in the right direction, and I really got to see how my plan changes after this, like where I'm gonna go. Definitely World Cups after this, and just try and keep building speed, and yeah.
Fantastic. Well, gentlemen, job well done. You guys delivered. Congratulations.
Thank you. Good job, boys.
Thanks, guys. Good job, dude.
Job, doc.